the NFLPA Executive Committee was split on the proposed CBA presented by the owners, which includes adding a 17th game. In a conference call over the weekend, the Players Association ultimately decided to postpone voting until they meet this week at the NFL Combine. So, Shannon, what does this tell you?
Well, Skip, the narrow vote tells you that just how close, how divided these players are on this topic. And Skip, look, there's a rep for every team, 32 reps. But from those 32 reps, they choose an executive board, which is made up of 11 reps. So what you do, Skip, you have basically you're the mouthpiece of your team. Now, I'm sure some of these player reps, they've called around and talked to some guys from other teams to get a sense of, okay, so where are you? What are you thinking? 17th game, what would you like to see? Skip, this thing is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. The problem that I have is that the players still bargain for petty privileges. Now, I've talked to someone very close to this situation. You know the two most important things to the players, Skip? It's not lifetime medical. They mention nothing about no franchise, no transition tag. You know what it is, Skip Bayless? Practice time is smoking weed. Now, the NFL owners,
that's true.
Skip, the NFL owners, they got to give the public perception that they care. They really don't care about weed. They're upset that their players get suspended because they know half the U.S. population is smoking. And now these states are making it legal. So they're like, hold on, it's legal basically everywhere else, but we can't do it. So now, instead of getting tested like 4 months in advance, now they can only test you 2 weeks in advance before the season. Okay, we got to get that. Now we're going to raise the nanogram, Skip. Instead of 30 nanograms test positive, we're going to jack that up to 150. Skip Bayless. Now, there's not a player in the NFL that makes as much money as Roger Goodell. What did Roger Goodell ask the owners for? He asked them for a lifetime private jet and lifetime medical. Here's a guy, Skip, that's never had a pair of cleats on a football field since he's been the commissioner. All he does is walk on the field, and I got no problem. I love commissioner. Talk to him every time I see him. He shows me love, and I love him. But Skip Bayless.
By the way, the league has boomed under his watch.
Yes. But it's funny. A guy that makes 40, 50 million, he ain't asking to smoke no weed. He ain't asking, hey, I want more time off. He said, give me a jet and lifetime medical. That's a guy that's making 40, 50. But these guys, they want to smoke. They don't want to have practice on OTAs on the weekend, Skip. Come on, let that sink in for a second.
Okay.
This is what the owners knew, Skip. This happened in '87, and I know you covered it back then. The strike. What you had happen is that you had the most prominent players. We don't need to call no names, but you know who they are, Skip. They crossed the picket line. I'm talking about Hall of Famers. So that left them, and the owner's like,
I covered a Monday night football game between the Redskins and the Cowboys in which all the Cowboy stars walked the picket line. Wow. Too Tall, Tony Dorsett, Randy White, they all came back and they played a quote-unquote scab team coached by Joe Gibbs who beat their butts at Texas Stadium. Okay, that's what this is. That's what it's coming down to.
Did you know that before the owners locked them out in 2011, did you know the players got the biggest share of the revenue? People don't know that, Skip. In the original CBA, before the owners locked them out, the players got 53-47. The owners locked them out, and they take 54-46. And they say, give us a 17th game. And what we'll do now, I don't get too drawn out with this, but let's just say you make $16 million a year. It's prorated because you get a bye week over 17 weeks. Skip, we're going to have a 17th game, and we're going to pay you $250, even though you might make $1.5 million. But that's with an asterisk, Peter King just came out and says you can negotiate more pay with your team.
You can.
Skip, you open up a can of worms, aren't you, Skip? Because remember, that's why they got a salary cap. Because they didn't want you to go outside and say, because Jerry spent $300 million to win him a field, him a winner, kind of like the old Yankees used to do.
Interesting.
Skip, I'm surprised in talking to people. Now, Richard Sherman is fighting really hard, benefits. Instead of 5 years, he said, can we get 10, 15? If we can't get lifetime, can we get 10, 15 years of medical? Can we get some of the things? And he's fighting his tail off. If I'm going to give up another game because player safety, so much for player safety, Skip. But anyway, that's another day. It's going to happen. It's not if, it's when now.
So, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't enjoy talking about this topic. I'm like a billion other NFL hardcore fans out there. In the end, I just want my football.
Right.
I have had, over the length of my career, a lot of sympathy for the players who always seem to lose their way in negotiations. But in the end, I just want my football. So I despise the notion of a strike or a lockout because it doesn't really do any of us any good, even us sitting right here on this show.
No.
It does not do our quote-unquote product any good at all. I believe most fans watching right now have little to no sympathy for any of what you just talked about. I think they're mildly interested in it for the points you made. And yet, in the end, I do care enough about this that on Friday, I expected the executive committee of the NFLPA to dig in and vote 11-0 against the owner's first offer, but the one that they said we will not renegotiate.
Right.
The owners just dug way in. They just said, here it is. This is what you're going to have to swallow because we're not going to change one cross T or dotted I in this. Here's our first and last proposal.
Correct.
Like it or not. And 6 of the executive members said, we like it. We'll take it as is. Okay, right now, we'll go.
I thought 6 said no and 5 said yes.
I'm sorry, 6 said no. I'm sorry. 6 said no and 5, but 5.
Right,
Yes, 5 said yes.
Correct.
So I didn't really focus on who the 11 were, but there are no big stars on here except, I could argue, Richard Sherman's a pretty big star, okay? But he's the only one that you would say has star quality.
Right.
So this is kind of rank and file, guys who volunteered their time to be an executive because a lot of stars are going to say, I don't have time.
I want my time. I ain't got, going to Hawaii is nice, but I want to spend time,
I don't want to do that.
Right. Correct.
So the president and the treasurer are both retired players, Eric Winston and Mark Herzlich, right?
Right.
They're out.
Right.
Okay.
His tenure's coming up because you get 2 years, Skip. He was reelected in 2018. So
Right.
this is...
Okay, I got it. And then I'm going to quickly run down the other names. Sam Acho, Lorenzo Alexander.
Who just retired.
He just retired. He made 2 Pro Bowls, but not a big star. Zach Diassi's a great long snapper, made 2 Pro Bowls, but he's a long snapper. Thomas Morstead made 1 as a punter, punter. Russell O'Coon's pretty good player, but not a big star.
Right.
I mentioned Richard. And then I saw Michael Thomas, and I thought, oh, Michael Thomas. No, it's not that Michael Thomas. No. It's the undrafted free agent safety and special teams player who did make 1 Pro Bowl as a special teams player. Okay. No, and Adam Vinatieri's the greatest kicker ever, but he's still a kicker, right? And then I love Benjamin Watson, everything he stands for. I'm glad he's on this committee, but he's a 39-year-old tight end who's not a star, not a Pro Bowl player, right?
Right.
Won a ring in New England.
I mean, probably the only guy that people know on that roster is Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman.
Okay, so that's what you need to know. That's what you're sort of up against here. It's not the stars voting 6-5 to say no. It was just a bunch of rank
But what
and
they're
file.
doing, Skip, is that, you go back and, it's like, okay, when we go to the board, I mean, we looking at topics, you're like, okay, you like this topic. It's like you bouncing it off to me to see what I have idea what I would like to talk about.
Okay.
Well, when they're voting, they've talked to their team.
Okay.
And they've gotten more, hey, guys, I'm all for this. Because they're looking short-sighted, Skip. But here's the thing. And I was talking to a guy that's very close to this. I said, do these guys know? Now, this deal is going to be for 10 years. Do they realize that 80%, 85% of these guys are going to be out of the league halfway through this, and they're going to be able to smoke weed on their own.
Okay.
And they're going to be able to do whatever they want to do. Do they understand that?
Okay.
But guess what? You're probably going to have some injuries that you're going to need to get fixed.
Yep. So just for balance on this, for perspective, the executive committee of the NBA's Player Association features Chris Paul, Iguodala, Kyrie. So superstar, superstar.
You remember LeBron used to be the VP.
He did. Okay. That's the difference. Player-run league, owner-run league.
That would have been the equivalent of, say, Tom Brady or Peyton Manning saying, I want to be president of VP.
Correct.
Or the Players Association.
Okay. So this is just me. If I were a player and a superstar, I would want to go to war, so to speak, go to battle anyway, over a hard salary cap. I would want to try to get it dismissed. That's the essence, because don't cry poor to me anymore.
Thank you.
But you got a hard cap that you always vote in.
Right.
You re-vote it and re-vote it. And then you say, we don't make enough. Well, okay, that's on you.
Get rid of the franchise tag. Skip, how can there be free agency if I can tag you and I can't go chest to market? I mean, if you're in a normal workplace, Jenny,
You would be able to.
you can't. Look, I love my job. I ain't trying to go nowhere. But Fox can't tag me at the end of my contract and say, Skip, I want you to stay.
No? Okay.
I mean, come on, guys, and get that minimum up. Say, okay, y'all want minimum salary is $2 million.
Okay.
It's interesting that you listed everyone because I didn't really realize who was a part of these decisions.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
And 5 of those guys said, we love it.
Yeah.
We'll rubber stamp it right here, right now. Let's go forward.
Because the owner said we're not doing anything else. Yeah. So, Skip, you know, you kind of get nervous. When they say that, if we don't take it now, they say nothing.
I know. I got it.
D. Smith, the president, the head of the NFLPA, said, look, he told 3 years ago, start saving your money because we prepared to do this. And now we were a year ago heading this.
All right. Well, both sides continue to discuss at the Combine. That is the latest, and we'll keep you posted when we learn more. Let's go back to what we saw over the weekend. How shocking was Tyson Fury's TKO of Deontay Wilder? Chris Broussard joins us.
He didn't win, Skip?
Let's see what he has